I was like, wait, what one are we on? I got it. Well, I do have it written down in front of me, but it's underneath the keyboard. There we go. 206. Let me go ahead and pull up our. God, so many buttons to push. There we go. There we are. All right, we got that going, this going, this going. Didn't get the chance to print out my outline, unfortunately. Sad face. But we're here to talk about some video games, talk about some. We're going to have our spoiler cast at the very end about Walking Dead. The last two episodes. I don't remember what happened in the episode before last night, or before this week's.
I'm drawing a blank.
Crap.
I'm tired.
We might have to go back and, IMDb it before we get too far. All right, so, the Ball and Chain podcast. This is a podcast we do about movies, video games, pretty much anything entertainment. I drag my wife into talking about this shit for you guys and things that entertain us. I'm Mox Morgan. I have ItsMyAngel. How are you?
I'm tired.
Well,
it's
wake
late
up.
And the baby's asleep.
It
should be asleep.
You're right. We should. We're going to make a quick podcast. I know I always say that, but those usually end up being like an hour long.
Right.
But, we're going to go ahead and get the show on the road here. So our top three, what we're talking about this week. Number 3. You all right there?
Working on it.
I fell over, I thought. All right. Number 3, Shack News put a top 10 list, top 10 games for noobs out there. A nice little video roundup for gamers to show non-gamers and what games are fun for those types of people to play. We've got our own, few of our own that we'd like to talk about and kind of go over the list a little bit. Number 2, the Nintendo Switch. Game Informer posted a they do these really cool community what are they called? They're like community spotlight things where they ask a question to their community and they kind of get like the pulse or whatever from their community. This one is, what's the best reason to buy a new console on launch day? Why do you buy a console? So we'll talk about that a little bit. And then in number 1, Phil Spencer, head of Xbox, had a little bit of an interview with, or I guess it's not really an interview. It's more of like an announcement type of thing, press release, talking about 2017, how awesome it's going to be an Xbox gamer. And kind of want to go over a little bit of that. And then at the very end of the show, we'll warn you, but we're going to talk about The Walking Dead. So if you haven't seen it yet, you'll be able to watch the entire episode in its entirety, and then we will, break for a minute and then start spoiling the shit out of it. So you've been warned. All right. So the top 10 games for noobs. So there's a couple games on here that I'm not familiar with, but the ones that are on here, and you guys can go over to Shack News, the video's up on their very front page, so you can see it on the right-hand side. But number 10 is The Sims 4, and I think The Sims is an okay game. That's a pretty good game to show non-gamers, because you really can't go wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, right? You can't lose. Bad things happen, and then you just keep moving, right?
Hopefully.
Right.
I think your character can die eventually.
Can it?
Yeah.
Oh man, I haven't played.
You can age to death.
You've played the Sim. I think you've actually played The Sims 4. This is the one with the little green diamond on the cover.
I have 3 or 4. I don't remember now. It's been a while since I've played it. But
yeah, for the PC, the last Sims game that I played was, oh god, it was on the PC forever ago. It was probably one of the Sim roller coaster or something like that. Ever ago. Life is Strange is number 9. That's a good one. I think that's a pretty good one for new gamers, non-gamers, because
yeah, it was very story driven, so not heavy, not like a first person shooter or something like that. I mean, it's very like based on the story.
Right. And it's not like you have to do a lot of intricate button presses and memorization and stuff like that. You got the quick time events and things like that, but that's, again, kind of like The Sims. If you mess up, most of the time you either just do it all over again, or it just keeps, or it continues to go forward. Let's see here. A couple other ones on here. Until Dawn is one that I think that you would like to play. It's kind of the same thing as Life is Strange. It's another quick time event, very story driven. In the video, because I've never heard of it, but in the video it talks about how it's more like a movie and you're just kind of playing the role and things like that. So I to me, it sounds like your cup of tea.
Okay.
But yeah, Mario Party's on there. Of course, that's a fun game to play with a bunch of people. You're
Sorry.
right.
Plugging in baby monitor.
Oh yeah, plug in the baby monitor. Let's see here. And then Plants vs. Zombies, I think, is another good one. That's a fun game to play.
I've never played it.
You've never played a Plants vs. Zombies? It's a fun cooperative game. Kind of like almost like tower defense. Remember Pixel Junk Monsters on the PSP and on the PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 3?
Yeah, I forgot about that, but yeah.
Think of like that, only like more grid based. Like there's a grid and you got to protect your the left side from the zombies that are coming from the right, attacking to the left. So yeah, it's pretty fun. What games would you recommend for new players?
I totally forgot about this game. But what is that? What was the one where you got to like play God from above, like, and you had the people? We talked about this game.
Dust.
From Dust, right?
Yeah, From Dust. Yes, From Dust.
Yeah, that's kind of a different type of a game to show somebody who's not like a true gamer.
Mm-hmm. I agree. That's a fun one, and the concept's pretty easy. It's trying to get people from point A to point B without dying.
A lot of those. Now that we're talking about it, kind of a lot of those PS3 games.
Flower,
Little Big Planet.
Little Big Planet. Probably the first Little Big Planet. Once you got into Little Big Planet 2 and 3, it kind of got a little convoluted with like the different characters and like different abilities and things like that. I think Little Big Planet 1 where you were just Sackboy.
And what was the tower defense game you just talked about?
Pixel Junk
yes.
Monsters.
Yeah, that was a
good one.
I forgot about a lot of these games. It's been so long.
I think Mario Kart should be on here. I know they limited the games to the past 10 years, but I know there's been a Mario Kart in the past 10 years.
Yeah, Mario Kart 8, I think, recently was last
yeah, the Mario Kart 8, I mean, specifically, I think Double Dash is a good one because you can play cooperatively on the same kart. It's probably the best one, even though that one's forever, ever ago. But yeah, Mario Kart games are awesome. I'm trying to think what else. I was thinking almost Portal. I like Portal, even like Portal 1, even though, again, it kind of goes past that 10-year mark. But when you're looking to like kind of impress someone and really kind of blow their mind, like, hey, you can control this. Like the first person view, can be a little off-putting just because it's trying to teach someone to play that's never played video games before. This is the way your head moves and this is the way your feet move, kind of thing.
And I think anything in the VR headset, I think that kind of opens things up too.
Right.
Just because it is so different, most people are open to seeing or trying kind of what this is, and maybe they're not going to play the whole thing because obviously it's your phone and you can't sit there and play for that long. But I think just kind of showing them that is something that it's kind of fun for non-gamers.
I wish we had a PC that was strong enough to run a VR headset, like an actual VR headset. Like, I think you would really enjoy it. That might be something like after the Scorpio launches, and I know they're planning on releasing the Oculus for the Xbox, but AMD just announced a whole bunch of processors for the to compete with Intel, and they're considerably less money with the same amount of power. So I'm wondering what that will do as far as like if it's going to be if it would be cheaper to build a VR only PC or go the route with the Xbox Scorpio with the what you call it, Oculus. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, cool. So the Nintendo Switch, the Game Informer posted this question to its community: what's the best reason to buy a console on launch day? What would you say?
an exclusive game, if you're a hardcore fan, and you have to play a game, um, that's a launch title, would probably, I guess, be the only reason.
Yeah, I mean, launch titles are impressive. I mean, if you know that you're a fan of the system or a fan of like the first party titles, launch games are important. But with Nintendo, you kind of know what you're going to get into. You're going to get into a Mario Kart. You're going to get hopefully a Zelda. Well, yeah, we know we're going to get a Zelda on launch day.
Right.
That's for me. That would be the only reason to buy a Switch is Zelda. There's no way I'm buying one without the other. But it would be, it's been a while since we got a Metroid. Like, these first party titles are what kind of draw you in. And it's kind of sad that we're only getting a Zelda game at launch for this system. It kind of, people are going to say, well, we're getting, Mario Kart, during, holiday and stuff like that, which I think that's a conspiracy. I think Nintendo is like, well, they might only buy one game, and we need more income or more revenue in holiday, so let's push one of these back.
Could be.
So I don't know. What about and especially with it being Nintendo, what about technology? I mean, this whole Switch idea, mobile console thing is all new. Does that appeal to you, or do you think that
Not particularly?
Do you think it could appeal to some gamers?
Kids. I feel like Nintendo's kind of gone the kid route.
Again, it's unfortunate.
Yeah, because I mean, I just think of the kids in the back taking it in the back seat playing their Game Boy. I mean, that's which that might appeal to the parents because
like, here, play with
quiet.
this and shut up.
Right.
Put your headphones on. Don't talk.
But
we're gonna be in the car for a while.
Right. But I don't know. I'm not super excited about it. The one console I was excited for was the PS4 because the new Drake game, and we still don't have that. So
right.
So
priorities, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Trying to think if there's anything else. I mean, we talked about the games, the overall function of the system.
Typically, on launch, you see a lot of issues.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Xbox had the red ring. Of course,
the 360.
with their first. Mm-hmm.
Well, they had that even after launch too. I mean, that was
right. That went on for quite a while.
Right.
But
PlayStation had the disc drive problem where the disc drive would like eat your games.
That's right. I forgot about that. So yeah, I think it's always best to wait like a generation or two, not a generation, but like
wait till they break out or get out of the kinks. I'm glad you kind of bring that up because the one thing that's interesting is, and I think will be a problem for Nintendo, is the storage on this console. It only comes with 32 gigs of hard drive storage, and I think they said like 6 to 8 of that is being used up by the user interface, by the operating system, and things like that, the settings. So you're looking at less than 30 gigs of space, and there's already reports of some games being larger download size than 30 gigs.
Yeah, it's a little ridiculous. I don't know.
So in a world where so that's another thing that it kind of brings up. Our family is starting to go pretty much digital at this point. I don't know when the last physical game that we bought was Doom. Was it Doom? It was Doom. And that was only because the only reason I bought it, physical copy was because the download size was just so massive. It was going to take forever to download, and I wanted to play it at midnight. So
problem is with the Xbox, you have to install it anyhow.
Right, you got to install it anyhow, but the install from the disc is way faster than downloading it from the internet. Especially at midnight when everybody's hitting those servers to download the game. Some game companies are getting much better about giving you the download beforehand, and they're there we go. they're giving you the download ahead of time and then basically saying, okay, you can go ahead and we're going to unlock the game at midnight or whatever. But yeah, there's a couple games that are announced for the Switch that are more than 32 gigs. So this whole notion of it's going to be a digital, there's no CDs, there's no.
I thought you said it's a little cartridge.
Right. There's little cartridges, right. But you can opt to download them as well. So you have to buy a cartridge that's the same cartridge, but like a blank one.
Right, as an expansion.
Right. So what's the point? Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I just
it's frustrating.
If this at this rate we have terabyte drives that are those thumb drive or whatever you want to call it, SD cards. We've got 500 gig ones. Like, would it really cost them that much more money to put in 100, 150, 200 in there? No, not at all. But I look for the next one to have a much bigger hard drive because that's going to be one of the things that is easy to fix for them, and But all right. So moving right along, this is going to be a pretty quick podcast, isn't it? So Phil Spencer, the chief of Xbox, posted out a article on Shack News here. Well, it's not on Shack News, but the article's on Shack News. But he had a press briefing with a whole bunch of information about the future of Xbox and how 2017 is going to be fantastic. Kind of went into a little gray area, how we don't have a Gears of War this year, and we don't have a Halo this year, Halo first-person shooter, because we have a Halo Wars game, the RTS. But he was specific in saying we don't have a Halo this year. Which is okay. I mean, the reason why we like those games is because they don't come out every year. Call of Duty, and oversaturate the market, and you can't tell one from the other, and it just bastardizes the whole genre or the whole series. But he talked about they're going to be taking some risks with different titles and different games and things like that. They brought up Sea of Thieves, which is going to be an excellent cooperative game where you play as a pirate. And I think this is something that Eli would really enjoy, where it's you and your crew is sailing on the ship, and you can interact with other pirate ships, and you can go treasure hunting and things like that. And it's really it's very, very interactive. It's from the people that's from Rare, so the people that made GoldenEye and Viva Pinata and all those other awesome games in between. They're bringing back Voodoo Vince. Do you remember Voodoo Vince from Dreamcast, PlayStation era?
No.
It's a great platformer game. They're bringing that back. And then they're also starting, which actually they started with Halo. Halo Wars was the first Play Anywhere game, where if you purchase it on the Xbox One, you also got a free copy on Windows 10. So this is going to be a new thing with first-party titles, and I believe with other. I know it's going to be first-party titles for sure, but I look for it to happen with third-party as well. They'll kind of, I think it'll catch on with them. He talked about Project Scorpio and how this is going to it's going to be the most powerful system, and it's going to offer up the VR capabilities. Games are going to look better, sound better on it, kind of give it, I don't want to call it like a new console, but it's like a console refresh type of thing. And then they also talked about how they're going to have big news for their E3 briefing coming up. I think that's in June. E3 2017. I think it's in June. Yeah, Tuesday, June 13th. So that's not too far off. So they're, definitely planning stuff. So it's just, it's kind of exciting to see, even though they don't have, their big AAA titles. I mean, heck, we're not even going to have a Forza this year. So, this is kind of like an off year for Xbox. And they're, Phil Spencer, is still excited, is still trying to get the hype train going and things like that. So we will see. I think Eli will like Sea of Thieves.
Cool.
You haven't heard of it, have you?
No.
I'll have to show it to him, see if he'll like it. I think it's something he'll really, really enjoy. All right, guys. Well, that is going to do it for our show this week. We will be back next Wednesday. I don't know when. I took off. When I updated the website and updated the Facebook and YouTube channel, I was looking at it. I was like, Mana Drain on Monday at 9 p.m. Ball and Chain podcast at 8 p.m. on Wednesday. Laundry Day stream at 11 p.m. on Thursday. I'm like, why don't we just name the days? Why do we have to pigeonhole ourselves to a time?
Because it never works.
Because it never works, and then when we miss it, it ends up getting, I end up getting pissed off, and I'm like, damn it, we missed the freaking time slot, and why we got to do this, blah, blah, blah. And so it's just Wednesday. With baby, it's near impossible. I'll tell you what, like
until he gets
when he gets a little bit older, and I can say go to bed, and he goes to bed. We'll put a timestamp on it. But for now, if you want to know when we're going to go live, it's going to be that day. Sometime that day.
After you get off work. So
after I get off work, obviously, which now I'm working till 7. But, if you want to know when we go live, go to Twitter, twitter.com/BC podcast. I post there when we're going live. You can check out the Facebook page. We post there when we go live. Or just follow us on Twitch, twitch.tv/72DPI online. It'll let you give you a little indicator, the little quote marks that says, hey, they're going live. Because, it could be 8 o'clock. It could be 11:30.
I'm not feeling too live right now, though.
But we are live. Maybe not live, but we are live, LIVE.
Yeah.
You are almost asleep. So, all right, guys. Like I said, follow us on Twitter. You can head over to our YouTube page at youtube.com/72DPI online. Subscribe to the channel there. You can see when we post the recorded shows, as well see all of our archival videos. And Sawyer is awake. So we will catch you guys next week. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
See you later.